Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to work on about classes. So I'm going to take about classes, I'm going to go, I'm going to say open about classes. And that's going to open about classes. I'm going to close our about scoring because we completed that project. So yeah, classes. This is really valuable. Rails is built on this. Obviously anything on Ruby is going to be built on classes. So here we have a class of dog. And now we say test instances of classes can be new. Fido is equal to a dog.new and assert equal Fido.class. Well, we could just actually do this in our terminal or in our IRB. I typed in IRB to the terminal. And so now we have a class of dog. If we go Fido is equal to dog.new, we'll see that we have created a dog. And so now if we were to just check out Fido, it just gives us the name of the instantiation of this class. And what are we going to do with it? Well, if we go, there's nothing to do right now, but if we go Fido.class, we're going to see that we have created a new class. And so we want to enter that there. So dog. And you can actually do the class name. You don't need to convert it to a string. So yeah, now we have a second class called dog2. And you can say you set the name. So on instantiation, the name becomes equal to whatever it was passed in when it starts. So dog2, we create instance variables. Oh, okay, cool. So let's paste in dog2 to the terminal. So now we have dog2. You can see that that's instantiated. If it were to be dog3, that's not there because we haven't done it. So now we have dog and dog2. And so if we were to go set Fido, well, now we would change the variable. So Fido is now equal to dog2.new. And so Fido is, here we've instantiated it. But what they're saying is Fido.instance variables. So what is this telling us? Set name a dog. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. It's 0 instance variables now because we haven't passed in anything. But what we can do is we say, okay, so here it's what are we going to get? Our instance variables are none. There are no instance variables. But if we go Fido.setName, then we call that name. So what we do is we set the name of the dog. So a name is being passed in, and we set the instance variable. This @ sign is a variable, which means that variable is available on the dog object, and we set that equal to whatever we got passed in. So here, because we put it on Fido, now if we do Fido.instance variables, I think that our instance variables will be here. I think it'll be Fido. Here's what I think it'll be. Fido, I think it'll be @name is equal to Fido. I think it's going to look like that. Fill me in about classes stuff. Cool. So I'm going to save this, and then we can run, we want to run the rake command. And let's see. Looks like I've made a mistake. Okay, so we can't do it like that. Well, maybe if it's just Fido like that. Instance variables. But I don't think that that's going to be right. I think it needs to be something else. Line 25. 25. So we have it wrong here. Okay, interesting. Yeah, the instance variables are going to be saved like that, @name. So this is going to be an object in which we have a symbol, and we set name to be there. So that'll pass the next one. So here we have Fido.2, new, assert raise, Fido.name. What's going to happen here? Fido.name. Raise. Okay, so what's happening here? Well, we set the name to Fido, but there is no method on it called Fido name. In our dog2 method, we're going to need to have a way to, well, we need one that's going to be like a def name, whatever, end, right? But because that's not in dog2, we want to, this is going to be called a no method error. We could actually do that right now in here because like Fido.name is going to be a no method error. And so that's going to be our assertion. Eval Fido.name. Raise error. Using eval because the above line is a syntax error. What happens if we did this? Yeah, we're just going to get a syntax error. So assert raise, we're going to get a syntax error here. Let's save that and see how we're doing. I'm going to go rake command over here. Here we've got classes line 25. And now we're on to 46. Okay, so we've jumped ahead. Looks like we've got that. Syntax error, so you can't do that. And then this is a no method error. We don't have this method on here, but my guess is we're going to set it up here soon. So test, you can politely ask for instance variable values. Fido.dog2. So we create a new dog. We set the name to Fido, and instance variables get name. Instance variable get. Oh wow. So with the dog, well, we've already set the name to Fido, so I actually think this will actually work for us. Here we go, Fido instance variable name get name. Oh wow, so this is just a method that you can use in Ruby. I've never used that before. Instance variable get name. Huh? Yeah. Well, usually we'd be able to just say Fido.name, but I guess with this you can call instance variables easily. I guess. Interesting. I don't know why you would use that. Here we set the name to Fido. Instance eval, the string version. Fido, and oh, you can pass it in as a string, or you can pass it in as a block with a @ symbol there. Interesting. So I guess this is just showing you that you can do the same thing in multiple different ways. I've seen this, but I don't see this usually in professional Rails applications. Okay, so moving on, set name. And now here we have name. And so if you call whatever the dog was, so dog3, we create the dog3, its name is Fido, we set the name to Fido, and then we go Fido.name. This is the one that you'll see all the time, Fido. Because what it's going to do is Fido, this is the Fido object. You set his name, so we use that, and then his name is saved to him or her. Fido's usually, all right. And then def name. So if you call Fido.name, you're saying in this class, and then you're saying the name, and then because of implicit returns in Ruby, it's just returning the name. And then you assert equal Fido. Cool. And then let's see. This is another way to do it. So class dog4, attr reader name, set name here, a name. At name is equal to a name. This guy is the same as this one. And then we're setting name here. What this is a shortcut for creating a function like this, attr reader. So attr reader will automatically define an accessor. So instead of having to do this, you can just go attr reader name, and it's going to give you that one. Set name Fido, Fido.name is equal to Fido. Now this might seem silly that they keep doing Fido, but they're really just trying to give you the kind of the most basic breakdown of how classes work. And this stuff's really valuable. So attr reader and accessor are different, right? A test attr accessor will automatically define both read and write accessors. So Fido is equal to dog5.new, and then we set his name to Fido, and we want to assert equal the Fido.name. So what's going on here? Well, the class, which is this guy, has only this code in here, right? You'll notice that up here you had a set name and then a respond name. And then here on attr reader, we made it so that you didn't have to set the name with a 3-line function. You just do attr reader. And then there's attr accessor, which makes it so you don't even need to do the set names. So then once you get down here, you can just say Fido.name is equal to Fido, and then Fido.name is equal to that. So you can see, imagine if you had a giant class, and all you had to do was the attr accessors. That makes it so that your code is clean, and you can make instance variables more easily. Cool. So let's think about this one. I'll run the rake test in the background. So here we have attr reader name, and we initialize it with a name. Okay, so there's access reader, accessor, and then here we have the reader as well. And then we're on initialize. So initialize is a special method that's being called, which will instantiate the class. Test that initialize provides initial value for instance variables. So here, dog6.new, if you pass it in with the value of new, and if you pass it in there, the initial name, because this is the first argument of your initialized class, it's going to be your dog, right? So yeah, let's do dog6 in here. And so if we say dog6.new and we call it, useful programmer, and we need to save it as a up.name is equal to useful programmer, right? Why? Because it was initialized here. So this is a way to do a bunch of these simply. You set the Attr reader and you say the name. Say you wanted to say age or something like that, you could do it like that, and then you would be like at age is equal to initial name, initial age. And that way you can build these kind of objects large and cleanly. You'll see this all the time. So yeah, here it's just going to be Fido again. And test args to new must mash initialize. Assert raise. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've got dog6. What happens if we just go dog6.new? It says wrong number of arguments. So one of the things about using it this way is you have to have certain values. You have to have certain parameters being passed in order for it to work. And so what do we get here? Argument error. What does that mean? The argument error, because the class here, because it has an Attr reader and it defines an initialize parameters here, it requires these in order to be created without error. Think about it. Why is that so? I think I just talked about that. Cool. So let's save that. I'm going to run the rake task in the background. We're at 133. Cool. Okay, so test different objects have different instance variables. So Fido, dog6 new Fido, Rover. So here we've created two dogs. We've instantiated two dogs. One's called Fido, one's called Rover. We assert equal. Rover.name is not equal to Fido.name. Well, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true because they have different names. Why is that true? Well, okay, so this Fido.name, it actually creates a new element of dog with the name of Fido. This dog6 doesn't get affected by that. Dog6, it stays the same. It's still, here we are, we're just like, okay, we're going to make another dog where his name's Rover. And so now we've got two dogs, and if we go Fido.name, we get Fido. If we go Rover.name, we get Rover. That's all this is saying. Cool, moving forward. Class dog7, Attr rater name. Here we're setting it there. Get self. Dogs, okay. Fido dot get self. To string. At name. Inspect. Interesting. Test inside a method self refers to the containing objects. Okay, so yeah, this is just saying that get self, what is that? Fido's self. Fido's self is equal to Fido dot get self. So first we start with him. It's going to be Fido, I think. Fill me equal true. Assert equal. Fido self. True. No, it's going to be Fido. Yeah, the Fido is the initialized object of the job. Fido self is equal to Fido.getSelf. GetSelf returns you the name of the object. So Fido is this guy. Like, this becomes Fido. So I think that's right. Rake test. 167 now. 167. Okay, so that was it. It's just, this is circular logic, but this is definitely a koan. But yeah, okay, I hope that makes sense. Test to string provides a string version of that object. So Fido.new, we set him to new, and we assert equal Fido.toS. Here's 2S at name. So this is just going to be Fido.name. I think. My dog is Fido. Okay, my dog is Fido. We're down to this one now. So yeah, this is another one that's very koan-y. It's very like, here they're just saying, they're saying that you can set this as a method on it and it calls the initialized value of this guy. This will make more sense if we get into a project in which there's kind of differing ones. Then repetitive dog nature of this makes it a little confusing. Test to S is used in string interpolation. So Fido nice do. Okay, my dog is Fido. Dog named Fido. My dog. Oh, Fido. Interesting. I wouldn't think that this would actually return the name, but it says that it does. Interesting. So yeah, my dog is Fido. Test 2s is used. So if we get Fido dot, and then here we have a toString object, so 2s. Let's see, my dog is Fido. 2s is equal to name. Test to string is used in string interpolation. My dog is Fido. Okay, so here what I think they're going to want us to do is just to actually say my dog is Fido, and then they're just showing that you can just put Fido in string interpolation. I'm actually surprised that that works. I would have thought it would have had to be dog.name. Let's rake that and see what happens. 177. So dog.name works, but then that's interesting. Okay, 177. We're still failing this test. So I guess it just automatically interpolates the first initialized value, which is pretty cool. So let's move on. Test inspect. I want to keep this up here. Test inspect provides a more complete string version. Fido.inspect. So yeah, if we did dog7, which is here, let's save this class into our IRB. And if we come down here, we can set Fido is equal to new name, Fido is equal to this guy. What happens if we go Fido.inspect? If it returns a string, that says that. Now, they've defined a method called inspect here. I'm pretty sure, maybe it's just Rails has an inspect method built into it, but I don't know. Okay, cool. So if we go Fido.inspect, we're going to get a dog named Fido. And here you'll see that the name is being remembered. So we're able to use interpolation within the class just for there. So let's save that and run the rake task. It looks like we're on to the next one, 183. So 183 is right here. So test all objects support 2s and inspect. Okay, that's what I was thinking about. You don't need to write 2s and inspect because they all have that. So here's the array is equal to array.toString. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You can see array.toString. What do you think this is going to be? I think it's just going to put it within quotes, right? Yeah. And then if we did array.inspect, 1, 2, 3, it's the same thing. Array and toString kind of do the same thing. What happens if you do a string to string? I've never done this before. String to string. That's weird. Inspect. Weird. So I guess it saves the new lines if you do it with inspect. But if you go string to string, it's just the string. That's pretty meta. Array to string is going to be 1, 2, 3. So it's going to convert it into a string. And the same way in this guy. Cool. If we save that and run our rake task, we should be complete. Looks like we're not. About classes, line 187. Yeah, it expected that to be there. Oh, to equal string. I just lowercased it. So we save that and run the rake task. And it looks like we're on to about open classes, which is different than about classes. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next lesson.